When we talk about one-hit wonders, we mean those rare moments when an artist lands one huge song that everybody remembers. Maybe they had smaller tracks before or after, but nothing ever came close to that one shining hit. These are the songs that stamped themselves onto 1997, blasting from radios, filling malls, and sneaking into movie soundtracks. From Peach Union's dreamy On My Own to Hanson's unstoppable MMMBop, here are 15 one-hit wonders from 1997. Peach Union, On My Own. Peach Union slipped onto the American charts in 1997 with On My Own, a lush electronic pop single that sounded tailor-made for late-night radio. It had an airy, dreamy quality that made it stand out at a time when pop was dominated by louder, bolder acts. The song managed to climb to 39 on the Billboard Hot 100, giving the group their only taste of U.S. success. Beyond that one chart entry, Peach Union faded quickly, leaving On My Own as their single moment in the American spotlight. The sound was light and fleeting, but the next artist came in with something far more colorful and offbeat. Imani Coppola, Legend of a Cowgirl. Imani Coppola's Legend of a Cowgirl brought a quirky, sample-driven mix of funk and pop that instantly caught MTV's attention in 1997. With a playful video and an unusual sound, it turned enough heads to stand out in a crowded year of releases. The track reached number 36 on the Hot 100, giving Coppola her only mainstream U.S. entry. She went on to work on other projects, but nothing ever cracked the charts the same way again. For most listeners, this one eccentric track is the song that defines her career. From playful eccentricity, the countdown shifts toward a darker, late-night atmosphere. Olive, You're Not Alone, British trio. Olive arrived in America with You're Not Alone, a haunting blend of trip-hop and dance music. It carried that late-night electronic mood that fit perfectly into clubs and chill-out rooms in the mid-90s. While it only peaked at 42 on the Hot 100, the song became a favorite on U.S. dance charts, and it's the track people still tie to Olive's name. They never broke through with another single, making You're Not Alone their only brush with mainstream American recognition. The mood was chilled and atmospheric before turning back to something strange and sharp-edged. Whitetown, Your Woman. In early 1997, Whitetown's Your Woman popped onto U.S. radio with one of the strangest hooks of the decade. The song mixed vintage horns with a lo-fi electronic beat, while the lyrics played with perspective and identity in ways pop music rarely did at the time. It was unusual, but that's exactly why people remembered it. The single climbed to 23 on the Billboard Hot 100, making Whitetown a one-hit wonder in the States. Despite the unique style, Yoti Mishra never managed another mainstream hit. Your Woman remains his sole calling card, frozen in that odd corner of 1997. After the eccentric edge of Whitetown, the next entry burst out with humor and novelty that grabbed attention instantly. B-Rock and the Bizz, My Baby Daddy. B-Rock and the Bizz crashed into the charts with My Baby Daddy, a Miami bass track that turned a funny phrase into a nationwide chant. The beat was simple, the hook was repetitive, and the whole thing played out like a novelty single you couldn't help but sing along with. The song peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it a surprise top 10 hit in 1997. But once the novelty wore off, the group never returned to the charts. My Baby Daddy may have been short-lived, but it was impossible to ignore that year. That one had listeners laughing and shaking their heads, while the next hit brought easygoing sing-along vibes. Sister Hazel's All For You. Hit radio in 1997 with a sunny, feel-good sound that fit perfectly into road trips and college campuses. The track's breezy guitars and upbeat lyrics gave it a timeless sing-along quality that stood apart from the heavier rock dominating the charts. It peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, the band's one and only big U.S. hit. While Sister Hazel kept touring and recording, Nothing else reached the same level of mainstream attention. All For You remains the track that defines them for most listeners. From easygoing summer vibes, the countdown shifts into a ballad that carried a much heavier weight. The Verve pipe, The Freshmen. The Verve pipe released The Freshmen in 1997, and it quickly became one of the year's most memorable rock ballads. With its moody lyrics and aching delivery, the song captured regret and youth in a way that resonated with a whole generation of listeners. The track climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, their only major hit in America. Despite critical respect, the band never replicated that success. The Freshmen remains one of the ultimate one-hit wonders of the late 90s. After the sorrowful tones of The Freshmen, radio listeners soon found themselves drawn into a song that leaned on storytelling and subtle intensity. Shawn Colvin, Sonny Came Home. Shawn Colvin earned her moment in 1997 with Sonny Came Home, a folk rock track that told a dark story wrapped in an almost gentle melody. It stood out on radio because it didn't sound like anything else, balancing catchy hooks with lyrics that felt closer to literature than standard pop. The single peaked at 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and swept 2 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year. Yet Colvin never repeated that kind of mainstream presence again, leaving Sonny Came Home as the defining track tied to her name. The next band took metal out of the shadows and dropped it right onto Top 40 radio. Marcy Playground, Sex and Candy. Downtown by myself and I had Marcy Playground's Sex and Candy was a late 1997 alt-rock anthem drenched in haze and innuendo. Its laid-back groove and dreamy delivery made it sound unlike most guitar rock of the time, and it connected with listeners who wanted something softer and stranger. I smell sex and candy here. The track peaked at 8 on the Hot 100 and dominated modern rock radio for weeks, but the band couldn't follow it up, and Sex and Candy remains their one true claim to mainstream fame. That one floated like smoke on the airwaves, but the next single struck with soaring strings and a sense of grandeur. The Verve Bitter Sweet Symphony. The Verve brought orchestral sweep into rock with Bitter Sweet Symphony in 1997. Built around its unforgettable string riff, the track carried a mix of melancholy and hope that felt cinematic. It was the kind of song that made everything around it seem bigger, whether you were hearing it in headphones or in a movie theater. The single peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its influence stretched far beyond that number. Lawsuits over the sample followed, but none of it could stop the song from becoming a generational touchstone. For most listeners in the U.S., this was the Verve's one unforgettable moment. That one soared high and dramatic, but the very next track brought the party back down to earth with pure swagger. Mark Morrison, Return of the Mack. Mark Morrison brought smooth R&B swagger to 1997 with Return of the Mack. With its steady beat and confident vocal delivery, it became a soundtrack for comebacks everywhere. The groove was irresistible, and its attitude fit perfectly into late-night radio rotations. The single reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remains Morrison's defining track. While he continued to release music, nothing else gained traction in the U.S., cementing Return of the Mack as his lone moment of mainstream glory. From smooth swagger, we shift to Unapologetic Power, a track that turned raw honesty into an anthem. Meredith Brooks, Bitch. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child. Meredith Brooks broke through with Bitch in 1997, a song that blended alternative rock grit with pop polish. Its bold lyrics and Brooks's fiery delivery turned heads immediately, offering something raw and refreshing on crowded radio playlists. The track peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earned Brooks Grammy nominations, but no follow-up ever matched its success. Today, it remains the song most tied to her name, remembered as both controversial and empowering. After Brooks set radio on fire with honesty, the next single gave listeners a rallying cry they could chant in any bar or stadium. Chumbawamba, Tubthumping. Chumbawamba's Tubthumping stormed into 1997 with one of the catchiest choruses of the decade. The mix of pub-style chants and pounding rhythm made it an instant party anthem, the kind of track that demanded you shout along whether you wanted to or not. It reached number 6 on the Hot 100 and became the group's only U.S. hit. Even decades later, its defiant hook of getting knocked down and getting back up again echoes everywhere from sporting events to karaoke nights. Energy was at its peak, but the most unforgettable one-hit wonder of 1997 was still waiting at the top. Hanson, MMMBop. In 1997, 3 young brothers from Tulsa, Oklahoma unleashed MMMBop, and suddenly the world was singing in falsetto. With its sugary hook and bubblegum energy, the track dominated radio, MTV, and every school dance that year. It was pure pop joy, bottled and sold to millions. The single hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became Hanson's signature forever. While the group did have other songs, none came close to the cultural explosion of MMMBop. For most listeners, this was the ultimate one-hit wonder of 1997, defining both the year and the era. And that's the list. 15 one-hit wonders from 1997 that still bring back memories of malls, long car rides, and a pop scene full of experiments. Some of these artists disappeared quickly. Others kept making music outside the spotlight, but all of them left their fingerprints on a single, unforgettable year. Which of these tracks still takes you back the moment you hear it? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more hits that shaped music history.